Hello everyone. In this session, we are going to set up kubeadm, kubectl, as well as Kubernetes control plane. Steps are documented. I will just explain the steps, and you just need to go and connect to your Linux VM environment through putty and copy and paste these commands. So first of all, I have logged in as a root user. Okay, you can see it here in my Ubuntu environment. I'm on the root user. Now, the first command which I'm running it here, what exactly it is doing it in the Linux environment, I'm loading two modules. One is overlay module and second is net filter module. So these two modules, one is for overlay driver, that is each container will get the IP address. So how it will get it? So there is a overlay driver. We are loading it up. Net filter is for kube proxy purpose. So we are setting it up and we are enabling the bridging for IPv4 and IPv6 both. So I'm just copying and pasting this command as is. You can also do the same thing. Copy and paste it. That's it. Now, once this is done, now similar thing. As I told, we are going to use the signed repositories. In the Docker case also, I have used the signed repository. Similarly, for Kubernetes also, I'm going to use the signed repository. I'm installing three uh, mm, packages. One is kubelet, kubeadm, and kubectl. So all this thing I am doing it, you can copy and paste as is, and it will go and set it up the environment for you. So once this is done, it will go and install kubelet, kubectl, and kubeadm for you. And once this is completed, then you can go and check the version. It must be 1.30 or 1.31. Now we are switching off the swap memory. Why it is required? Because kubelet is the service which will only run when the swap memory is switched off. Okay, so swap memory generally in the operating system, why they use it? When they are running out of memory, swap memory will be used to store the in memory processes. So in that case, it degrade the performance. So in Kubernetes architecture, they intentionally done this thing. So that's the reason swap memory must be switched off. So I'm just switching off the swap memory. Okay, once this is done, then we are telling Kubernetes which container runtime I'm using it. Okay, so I just switch it off. Now I'm telling the Kubernetes which container runtime I'm using it. So here, as I told, I'm using Docker. Docker has the container runtime called containerd. As you can see it here, I just show you systemctl status Docker, and you can see here the container runtime is containerd. So we are telling Kubernetes architecture which container runtime I am using it and mentioning into the file. Okay, so this command you need to run it. Okay, these command you need to run in the worker node as well. Step 1, 2, and 3, which I have performed it. If I am you are using multiple Ubuntu machines, one is for control plane, other for worker node. Step 1, 2, and 3 you need to perform in each of your worker node. Step 4 is the one which you need to only perform in the master node or in the control plane node. So step 4, what is there? Step 4, what we are telling is I am running the command. mm, kubeadm init command I am running it. Okay, so this command is there. One second, just give me a second. Okay, so step 4 is the command where we are running this kubeadm init command. Kubeadm init hyphen pod uh, network cider, and we are giving the network space for that. Okay, so this command we are running it, and you can run it kubeadm init hyphen pod network cider equal to 10.244.0.0.16. This specifically this part, what is exactly is doing it? It is providing the IP range for your pod. In the sense, in the container, whatever IP I am using it, it is providing the IP for that. Okay, so let's go and run this command. Once this command is completed, sorry, just give me a second. Actually, my Kubernetes cluster is already set it up. So I just reset the environment and run this command again. Now, if I run this command, it will work. So what this command will do it will first go and do the pre-flight check as I initially mentioned. Then it will go and create the PKI setup. Then it will create the configuration file. You can see it, configuration file, PKI setup. And now it is starting the Kubernetes cluster. Once this part is done, now The next part is uh, you will be copying the admin.conf file into your user home directory. So currently I am using root user. So root user home directory will be there. If you are using your own user, like if I am using Amit user, in the Amit user home directory, I need to copy the config file. Config file, this admin.conf file, what it contains, it contains the Kubernetes administrator, you can say the authentication mechanism. Okay, authentications are there in the form of key and cert. So these three command you need to copy and paste it. Otherwise, kubectl command, every time when you run it, you need to mention the things. Okay, you need to mention the admin.conf file. Why I'm telling it, like I run the command kubectl get nodes, is working perfectly fine. If I go and remove this file from the location, okay, now if I run this command, it will fail. It will give the error message that okay, I could not find the API server. So that's the reason you need to copy your etc kubernetes admin.conf file in the user home directory. Currently root user is there, so user home directory .cube folder, you need to copy it. Once you copy it, you can run the command. Or other way to run this command is you can run the command kubectl and you can mention kube config and you can mention etc kubernetes admin.conf. Each command you need to mention this thing. It will work that way as well. Once this is done, it will be showing not ready for you. You need to go and install the CNI. CNI stand for Container Network Interface. This is the plugin which will be enabling the IP for your pod. So your pod will get the IP from the range, but the plugin will provide the interface to that. Okay, so you go and install. I am using Fennel here. You have two choices, Calico and Fennel. I can go and install the Fennel here. So I'm just installing the Fennel. Okay, once the final installation is done, now if you run the command get nodes, after some time it should show you ready. And the role must be control plane. That's the only thing is there. And must be you must be seeing 1.30 version or 1.31, which is the latest one. It will install it and it will show you ready. So this is the part thing you have done it. Now we want to use what do you say, master as a worker node as well. I want to run the container in the master as well. So we need to remove the taint. We will discuss taint in further session. What is taint, why it is there, and how you can use a tainted node. But currently we need to untaint the master. So you will go and grab the taint value. You will run the command like this. It will show you the taint value. Okay, this is the taint value. This is the name of the server. You will run the command kubectl taint node, name of the node, Amit server. In your case, it will be your Linux machine name. And this taint value you need to copy and paste it here, followed by hyphen. It will untaint it. Now, if I go and grab the taint, nothing will come there. And this is the way you can use the master or single node setup in your environment. So basic idea is that one. One key note here is every time when you power off your virtual machine and powering it on, please make sure you are switching the SAP memory, because by default SAP memory, if you don't switch off, kubelet service will not start, and if kubelet service will not start, your master component will not be running it. And second key thing you can take care of, don't shut down the VM, you can suspend the VM. Okay, so right click and you will be having the option here where you can go power and you can suspend the guest. Suspend will not crash the master component and your environment will be up and running. So this is the couple of key points you can note it down. And that's it from this topic, how I set up my Kubernetes cluster. Thank you everyone. Thanks for joining the session.